What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of Arena Goat Talk, bringing on the legends of this game, let them share their story and give you guys some tips along the way. On this episode, we have the Hall of Famer, Arena Bowl champion, and former MVP, Mr. Sed Bonner. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Blessed, excited to be here, man. It's you've had some outstanding guests so far. I'm just trying not to mess this thing up.
Nah, man, your resume stacks up well against anybody, so you'll do just fine.
I'm excited, man.
Yeah, so again, appreciate you cutting out some time to come on. Again, I just want to, you to tell your story, guys, to, understand you. It's, instead of just Googling you, they can pull up this video and hear from your words, some of your your stories, and any tips that you want to give the guys along the way, feel free to share.
Absolutely, man. Let's get after it.
All right, so kind of let's start from the beginning. Kind of tell your story from the beginning, from you growing up as a kid up into college.
Just grew up in California for the most part. Traveled around. My dad was in the Marine Corps, so we traveled, moved. I lived in Texas, San Angelo, Texas, for a while. Back to Cali, lived in Yuma, Arizona, like just all over the place, right? And so growing up, it was I was always in very, very diverse settings, bunch of different people, just being on the bases and starting my sports career there with playing baseball. That was my first love, and really did that through middle school, and then I found basketball and middle school in California and stayed there in California through graduation. But really was a baseball player. That was my jam. I wanted to play baseball. I pitched, played outfield, and just kind of did that and enjoyed it, right? And had a good time playing until I found basketball. Then I found basketball in 8th grade and really wanted to be good. My high school team wasn't that great, but I got to go and just kind of develop playing at the park with guys in California all the time, got better and better and loved it. Had some great coaching in high school. Team wasn't great, but our coaching was great. Mm-hmm. What changed my life, was my junior year in high school. We got a new head football coach at our high school. Mm-hmm. And he came in the gym during basketball practice and pulled out the 4 best players on the basketball team and was like, can I talk to you guys? And so he talked me into playing football. And that was my first year playing organized football, was my senior year in high school. Mm. And so, from there, just kind of started at quarterback. First couple games, me and a guy were swapping time. And we were tied. We were 1-1, had a 1-1 record. We tied a game against another team. And then my coach came to me and was like, "Hey man, I know you play quarterback. Would you mind moving to receiver?" And I said, "No, this is the greatest thing I've ever done in my life. Like, I'm having fun playing this game. Like, it's new to me. It's fresh to me." Mm-hmm. So went and played receiver and had a great year. Had like 60 some odd catches after that, and made all conference, all this and that, and got recruited as a quarterback, oddly enough, from 2 or 3 games of playing quarterback into college. So that was, my early upbringing in a nutshell, just all baseball. And then all of a sudden, this other game was shown to me, and it was, it just grabbed me. You know what I mean? And I didn't, as a 40-something pound dude at 6'1", I didn't think I would love football, but I loved football. I loved the physicality of it. It in fact made me a better basketball player just because of the physicality piece and wanting to mix it up. I loved it. It was, it spoke to my heart like from day one. And so that kind of made the change for me, and got recruited and went to Cal State Northridge from there.
Okay. What was that process like? I guess your thought process, and then how was that journey transitioning from high school to college, picking the school that you wanted to go to? Your recruiting process.
Well, it wasn't all the glitz and glam I'm watching my son go through right now. Right? It wasn't any of that. Like, I had a coach come out. He looked at my film. He's like, if you come to my school, I'll make you a great quarterback. I had two other offers to go play basketball on a small level at Redlands College and somewhere else, but the D2 offer came from Northridge. So I'm a proud D2 guy. And so went into Northridge and just kind of, it was really the first place that came at me or came after me like it was like their last breath of trying to get somebody. And so for me, that's all I needed to know, man. Places they wanted me, they were going to develop me, allow me to grow, and just kind of go through the process, because I was so new to the game. And to go on to the collegiate level and try to play the quarterback position, I was way behind. So I needed that time to develop. And my coach, Pat Dagnan, was outstanding. He was great. He taught me much of the fundamentals that I used throughout my arena football career, with the footwork and just being able to see things, pound your back foot, and make sure the ball came out of your hand on time. And you couldn't do that without the footwork. And that's what he kind of instilled in me every morning. Like before class, I'd be up in the coach's office in the hallway doing drops, just kind of trying to perfect it. So that way I didn't have to think about it when I was out there thinking about, is this strong safety blitzing? Is this guy coming? Where I didn't have to think about those things in that moment. So we repped it enough where it was amazing for me. And so when I got to college, it was, I was young. I was a 17-year-old freshman, 6'1", 159 pounds. And at the D2 level, we had guys that had gone on and served our country, come back. They were 25 years old, 26 years old. The small school life, right? So it was a great mix of guys. We had some outstanding players and some good leaders on our team. I thoroughly enjoyed going in and trying to get better and going through that process.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you went through your college experience, and now you're about to graduate. So, what were you thinking? What was your thought process? What was the transition from, okay, I had a good college career, now it's time, I want to continue playing. What were your pro prospects? What were tell us kind of about that journey.
Pro prospects were slim to none. I had an okay college career, right? I was still, again, learning. Had a good year my senior year, but when guys come visit, they wanted me to run 40. I ran a good time, 4.69, 4.7. I was 190 pounds, 6'3" at this time, and athletic, right? I was a 7-foot high jumper in college. I played volleyball in college as well as basketball in college. So I was a good athlete. So in their minds, safety, they're going to move me to safety, right? So like that's what they saw in me when they came to see me, when they worked me out. And I'm like, man, I haven't tackled anybody since never. It's been too long since I've tried to tackle anybody. I don't know if I can go play on that level and try to tackle these ginormous backs and just any of it, man. But just never really got the shot coming out of college. So my journey was different in the fact that I never got a chance to go compete in camp or to do any of that stuff. I started working at a athletic club in California, and I was second in line, ran a couple basketball leagues, did some things, ended up meeting a guy there that was playing in a flag league. It was a pro flag football league in Brentwood, California. Played with them, and then we drove to Arizona, and that's where I went to my first pro tryout for the Rattlers in Arizona. Just walked out to the tryout, paid my money. That's how my pro career began. at an open tryout for the Arizona Rattlers at Scottsdale Community College. Mm-hmm. I remember it like it was yesterday, and really didn't have anything. I wasn't really thinking about anything in my mind except just going out and having fun doing it, see where it went. Mm-hmm. Did really well. Measurables were all great. Ran well, jumped well, threw the ball really well. And after the workout, I talked to Danny White. I talked to Pete Catello, who was our DM at the time, and he's like, "Well, you're in California. We're going to be down at Long Beach City for an open tryout next week. Can you make it to that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll make it happen." And so went down to that tryout in Long Beach, started getting some attention from some CFL teams. And as soon as they saw me working out again, like with the Rattlers saw me, then they signed me. They said, "We're going to sign you." And so that's when they signed me. And the rest is kind of history. There was some bumps in the road there with Arizona early on, but for the most part, I was just happy to have a home, mm-hmm. to go and compete and to look back and tell all those dudes that were like, "You're a safety. You're going to be a DB. You're going to be this." I'm like, "No, I'm going to play quarterback." So I was happy to have a home, and to be able to go out and do that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. So as soon as you start your AFL career, how long did it take before you kind of got comfortable with your reads and the speed of the game and things like that?
Ooh. I was fortunate my rookie year to have a guy by the name of Paul Justin. And it was a year that Hunky Cooper was the MVP in '93. I was a rookie. So I was a backup to Paul. So every day in practice, I took all the scout team reps and got to work against a good defense. And really towards the last 7-8 games of that season, as a backup, it started to make sense to me. Like what we were doing offensively, why we were doing it offensively, my reads, just from paying attention, right? In practice and in the film room with Danny White and Paul, just kind of understanding what was happening. I felt the game fit me, right? That flag league I played in had 8 guys on the field, right? It was very similar in the parameters of the field. So it spoke to me. I understood it. So once I got that, I kind of knew at some point I'd be able to kind of step in and take over. Never got an opportunity that first year to really lead. Came in a couple games and mopped up duty, but really never had a chance to start my rookie year. My second year in '94, came to camp and there was 5 dudes that had just gotten released from NFL teams in camp. And so in my mind, I'm like, man, these dudes don't think I could do it. Mm-hmm. They brought all these dudes in here. I'm on your roster. They brought all these dudes in here from NFL camps. I'm on your roster. I'm here, and I've worked. And so it was at that moment where I told myself I wasn't going to be denied, period. Mm-hmm. So I went out. I had a great camp. Played great in the preseason. Back then we had like 3 preseason games. Played great in the preseason, and one by one those dudes start falling off the list and start getting cut, start leaving. And then by the time we get to the first game against Orlando, I was a starter. Didn't go particularly well that opening night, but it was just great, man. It was fun to have my own or be in the driver's seat of my own team.
Okay. So that year, right? So what I always remembered about playing against you is how you got rid of the ball so fast. So was that something that was a natural thing, or was that something that you peeped the speed of the game, you peeped how things worked, and you just developed that along the way?
I think it's trying to stay away from cats like you, man. Like literally, the ball's got to come out. Especially, back then we had, you'd play both ways. Like we had guys that had to play both ways, so like you couldn't hold on to the ball. You've got your starting DN playing offensive guard or tight end for you. Another 2-way guy on the other side. The center was a 2-way guy. So it wasn't a situation where I ever felt like I hold on to the ball for a long time. Now, what you said makes total sense. You could feel the ebbs and flows of the game, right? And understand like, well, okay, well, listen, I'm gonna hang on just because I have to, right? I'm gonna hang on to it because I have to, and we got to get this thing done. We got to make this play. But understanding how to hit my back foot and get it out still goes back to my college coach, Pat Dagnan, my quarterback coach, because that footwork was so important to him. Being able to throw to your right and being able to get your body open to throw that ball to your right side, put the ball in the right spots. It was so important. So then when I married that up with just understanding what I was seeing with the defense, it was enabling me to be faster and quicker to get the ball out, right? Because I knew where I wanted to go. And then it just was a matter of taking that missile throw and being able to put that layered throw on it, right? Put some touch on it, drop it in the basket before your guy even comes out of his break and let him run and get it. So that all stems from footwork, right? That I learned in college and that I carry on. And I still teach today, still teach to guys today where I coach. So that just is just part of it, right? If everything's married up together and your mind is married up with your feet and you're seeing the same thing, it's ball can come out early. And then we had an offense that was very much timing related, as you know, and you cats would always try to disrupt it. So we had to kind of get on pace early and make sure we kept you guys out of the backfield.
It's quarterbacks like you and Dozell. You guys are the ones that like we never really could get our hands on. We'd be happy to slap your shoulder pad or fall at your feet and make you step back a little bit. You know, it's guys like you that made us so frustrated. It's just like, you know, just hold on to the ball for one split second more, and it's just like, nah, y'all knew what y'all were doing, and y'all were down getting rid of it. It was so frustrating to pass rushers like me.
It was, well, we tried to keep you frustrated because the last thing I wanted to see was that grin on your face that you got right now during the middle of the game. Last thing I wanted to see like that. That's no bueno for my safety and health. So, you know, the pass rushers, you know, in the league, man, people don't realize how talented you guys were in this league. The James Barons, I mean, the Ernest Allens, like the dudes that were just, I mean, it I don't know, man. It's hard to explain to people when you see a guy, you know, like Ernest, as big as he was, be as quick as he was, and as explosive as he was, and JB, this little what looks like a little skinny guy playing the nose, just dominating, just a complete bulldozer, you know, with quickness at the nose spot. It was there was just a ton of guys like that in the league, so it was imperative that you understood what you're looking at and that you got the ball out on time.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, in my talks with Dozell and those guys, they have their kind of thought process of what a typical kind of arena quarterback should be looking at, or the characteristics of a arena quarterback. What's your idea of what an arena quarterback, his characteristics and what he should be looking for in the game? What are keys for him?
I think number one, everybody needs to be able to throw different passes, right? You got to be able to, number one, put touch on the ball. You got to be able to drive it if you need to. And that's the thing. I've always felt this way, and I know Clint felt this way as well, but if you have to drive the ball as hard as you can, you're late. Every ball that I ever threw as hard as I could, I probably got it picked off because I was late. Mm-hmm. And I knew I was wrong, right? So you have to be able to make the different throws, the different layer throws, and be able to get the ball up and down because there is so much tight coverage, right? And I think that being first, I think good footwork is a must. I also feel there are times where you have to change your arm angle. It can't be where you live, but you have to be able to drop it down and get a ball out on time and get it out quick. And from the last thing is just be able to see keys, right? If you're if you're running middle motion, being able to see if they're coming down and playing the sky or cloud, or if they're crashing from the outside in, just being able to see that stuff and understand what the defense is giving you backside, which marries up with that, right? So I think just being able to see it.
Yes.
See it, because eventually they're going to show you, right? So being able to see what they're giving you and get the ball out on time. And those are all things that can be learned, because, it is a process, not an easy game. But just being able to skip away from center with your drop and get the ball out of your hand is key to me. And the layered throws are super key.
Mm-hmm. So when you say you're breaking the huddle, right? Just to try to get into your head. So guys who are young arena guys, kind of helping their thought process. So you break the huddle, you're walking up to the line of scrimmage. What's going through your head as you're walking up to the line? What's going through your head as you're getting under center? You start the motion and you're looking at the defense. What are some things that you're thinking in that process?
Well, that goes with film study, right? Like, so if I walk out and let's say we want to go tight end to the field, like a Tampa kind of look, and have our wing in motion. If they've shown me every time from the 20 and in, 20 and out, that every time we do that, they're going to go roll to a one double. You know what I mean? I know what I want to do to that coverage, right? They try to use the jack to go backside or to rob in the middle, any crossing routes, because they'll have another squat corner on the backside. So I know if I've got a climb and an over, I've got to manipulate that safety with my eyes on the over, especially if my backside guy gets free on the release. Mm-hmm. I'm going to peak my motion. And if he's clean, depending on the route, if it's a hitch, he's going to convert always. And I'm going to peak him. And with that peak, that should move my safety to try and help, especially if he gets a clean release. So I'm just thinking of worst case scenarios, right? Mm-hmm. Because the easy thing is to see the clean runner, and now I know I've got two verts on the safety, and I just got to hold him and make a choice to put the ball somewhere. So worst case scenario was we get jammed up here, don't get a release, and our backside guy gets free, but now we have to find our other guy who's trying to read the jack and find an open lane, whether it be a whip route or whether it be a cross sit, whatever. My mind immediately goes to worst case scenario. And mm-hmm. What's my plan, or what's my out if that happens, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got to have plan A, B, and C. And I think plan A should be your worst case scenario, because everything else to me is just it's an easy read. And I know that might be thinking kind of backwards, but that's just how my brain works. Like I'm thinking of worst case scenario, because when it happens, when it's right, then I know I can go ahead and make the throw and I'm comfortable. But plan A to me is when a defense is playing really well and they give you something you're not ready for, or they play what you expect better than you thought they would play.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like hearing how you kind of explain it is, there's quarterbacks out there that think just like you. They just don't know. They can't explain it. They can't articulate it, and they think they're alone. And
no, they're not. They're not. I'm a little bit backwards in that. Like the easy stuff for me is like plan B and C, right? Because we've had to play. We played against so many great defenses and teams with great defenses that you had to be ready for the OS, if you know what I mean. That's a bad word. The OS, like you had to be ready for it. Like, and so that's where not making a bad play worse. If they got you, they got you, right? Then we're going to make a new fan up in the stands and just chuck it out of bounds and make somebody's day, right? And put you guys one step closer to smiling for a big pass rush on the next play.
Trying to get you in third and long. That's what we're trying to do.
Yes, sir.
Or fourth and long, since we a 4-down league pretty much.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So, all right, good. So, we talked about, what it takes to, be a successful quarterback and things. So the next thing I want to talk about is kind of like I want to play a video of the Arena Bowl when you guys beat my Preds. So, I just want
Mind you, they beat us twice that year already. They had beaten us twice that year. Really bad at your place the second time. First time was 38-28, low score. We set Arena Football back decades when we scored 28 points, but they beat us 38-28 at our place. That was my first start. Man, it was great competing against those dudes, man. Victor Hall. I mean, they had some cats back then, man.
Yeah, those are guys who, me coming up, I'm looking up to those guys. Like, man, I'm trying to get on their level and all that. So, I'm gonna play this and just talk about your experience, during that game and what it was like to win and kind of talk about how you talked about how you guys lost to the Preds during the season. Kind of dive into it for us.
Well, I think going in, there's always the Arena Bowl, excuse me. And that night, we weren't given much respect. You see a little pump and go to Ced Tillman on a slant and go, hit him up early. The original Rattler right there, Cedric Tillman. And then the slant right here caught by Calvin. Man, that was a tight window. Calvin brought that thing down. And then you guys get back with B. Wags, who was one of the greatest ever. It was just one of those things, man. Hunky Cooper, a dog, got the biggest heart. I think going in, we didn't feel like we had any respect. Just trying to get out of the way. And then Calvin and I had this connection, right? And I scramble out. He's got a post route. I scramble out to the left, and he sees it, and he whips it back out. And as he's about to whip it out, I let it go to the sideline, right to the corner right there. And he comes out of the break and catches it for the tub. But we weren't given any respect because they had kind of handled us easily the first two games. But it was just one of those things where we felt like we weren't going to be denied, and we just wanted to answer. Every time Ben did something, I wanted to do something better when I got back on offense. So, like, we just wanted to answer every time to let you guys know, let the Preds know that we were going to be there the entire game. We didn't feel like we were Cinderella. We felt like we were a good enough team. We just had to go out and compete together, and that's what we did.
So when it was all said and done, after this moment here where they didn't convert, like that moment when you're like, okay, time has expired, we're champions. How did that feel?
Ooh. I kind of feel like I was so exhausted emotionally that I don't even know if it really hit me right. You know what I mean? Like I turn around and I put my hands up like we won? But I was emotionally drained, right? It was just one of those things. The jungle was very packed. It was hot. It was crazy. It was loud. To go in there and win that thing was emotional. Like, it was emotional. I was just physically drained after the game. But I can't even express what that felt like, especially, from the start of that 94 season in camp with 5 other quarterbacks that were brought in to pretty much take my job or take the job. It wasn't my job yet, but to take the job, to get all the way down to that point, to have to miss a game due to injury in the middle of the season, and not know if I was going to be able to get back as fast as I did, but I was able to get back. Like, all those things, all that hard work that you put in, man, it just makes it all worth it, man. The culmination is crazy. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So when you got towards, the end of your career, right? When did it feel like my body's had enough? It's time to kind of look into other things. Like, I guess talk about that transition at that point.
I think that transition was rough because it was kind of taken away from us in 2009, right? Like the league went on hiatus. I spent a year in Chicago, and I didn't want to be done. I just, wherever I went, I just wanted to make sure I played Arizona, and Chicago twice. Like wherever I went, I just want to make sure I played those teams. And so I was in talks with Utah at the time, and had agreed in principle to go play in Utah to keep playing. And then the decision was made for me when the league went on hiatus. So, as bad as it was, I had a newborn son, right? Like, so it was time for me to get into other things. So I went back to media school. I went to a media trade school, to work on my craft as an analyst and to just work on the entire TV scope, like to understand how it worked from running cables, running cameras to doing all that stuff. So I went to a media school for 10 months, and graduated from there. And like before I even graduated, I started working high school games here in Colorado. And then it just kind of went from there. Went from high school to doing college football games and basketball games. And then of course covering the Arena League, back in the day as well. So the decision would have been a lot tougher if that decision wasn't made for me, if that makes sense. But I knew it was getting close to time. I thought I had one or two more in me, and I think the fuel that I had to go out and compete one more time was enough. I was training hard, and then, I remember it was December 09, got that, or December of 08 is when it came across the ticker, and I was like, oh man, it's done. It's done. Yeah. So, it was a great ride, and it'll never be like it was then. I have hopes for it. I pray for it to be great again, but man, the competition level at that time with the players we had in that league, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Some of the most talented cats to ever play the game.
Yeah, I remember. I will always remember this because I was in Utah right before the league went down, and at that year I ended up getting hurt, and I didn't play most of that year. And Hunky was he was DC over there, and to start the year, I remember Hunky saying, he's like, your best year will be when you turn 32, and that would have been the next year. And I already got hurt, so I'm already like, I can't wait to get back. And then that's going to be, I'm waiting to see. I was like, you know what he's talking about? I'm about to ball out. And then it's going to be the comeback year. It's my 32. I'm about to ball out. Then boom, that happens. I'm like, it never came back. It came back 2 years later, and it was just the salaries was too.
Yeah,
nah, I can't do it.
Not to put your body on the line, right? It's just tough. It's just tough. And like, I was excited to go to Utah, man, I had moved to Denver from Phoenix in 06, so that was just a hop, skip, and a jump away. It wasn't very far away from my wife and son. So, man, I was excited. I was really excited.
So, let's talk about your experience when you won a championship last year as a coach with Billings, right? So what was your experience with the new generation of arena players, and then kind of winning a championship as a coach? How did all that feel? Kind of, how was that journey?
That journey was it was a long one, but a great one, right? I think being with my brother Sed Walker was phenomenal. We had Steve Titus, our owner, made sure that our guys were taken care of. Did a phenomenal job. Our group was young. We had a lot of young guys, right? We only brought in a couple older dudes, and I think the saving grace for us and for me was we didn't have to fix anybody else's problems, if that makes sense. They were all young cats. They were willing to learn. They were eager to learn. They wanted to understand the game, including my quarterback. So for me, that was awesome. It was awesome to be able to show them this game and try to teach them the fundamentally sound things that would make you successful in the game. And to their credit, to all these young men credit, they took to it, right? They loved it. They enjoyed it. It was hard. it was hard, right? Because there was uncertainty at times in the league, but they just kept plugging away, kept working and working and working. And to be able to finish that off with a trophy and get a ring at the end of it, it's, I still, look at the ring like it's like it was my first one. It felt that good because the last time I coached in 2011, we lost to my old team, Arizona, in the semifinals. And I was heartbroken. And so it took me all the way until 2024 to get back to coach and have it be the right time for me to the blessing of my wife to be able to leave and go do it again. And then to be able to run it out like that, that was incredible. That was amazing feeling. There's some super talented dudes like Dwayne Brown, who's playing right now, is unbelievable player, man. He's playing up in Albany now, but he is phenomenal. DJ Harvey, all these guys were rookies, right? And they just kind of took it and owned it, man. It was great. That was great.
Mm-hmm. That was, it was, of course, me and my friends, like, man, that was supposed to be us. But it's like, if I was going to lose, I would be proud to watch y'all win it.
Oh man, we appreciate it, man. It was, I'm always rooting for the old school Cats, man. It was nothing against the Cats last year. But we wanted you guys to come on up and see us. Didn't work out, but we were fortunate enough to get past Nashville and their pass rush. That was it was good squad, man, and we just played simple football, right? We didn't make mistakes. We kept the ball out of their hands, and tried to just be smart, and we were able to do that. I think we were even more open against Albany in the championship game. We weren't nervous about that game a bit. Our guys were prepared. We knew what was going on. They thought they were a good team, but they thought it was a fluke that we beat them the first time because we scored 12 points in, I want to say 10 seconds or 10 points in 12 seconds or something like that with the kicking rules. They thought it was a fluke, and our guys were locked and loaded from jump. And we went out and took it to them.
Yeah, you guys were all had a comfort level. It was just like y'all looked like y'all was just having fun out there because I was at the game and just watching Sed, like he over here just being goofy. Like he'll flip from smiling and being goofy, and then when the game kick in, then he's back to serious. And then all the guys over there was just it was just fun. Just watching you guys at work. It was just it ain't gonna be us. I want y'all to.
Yeah, he said something to me or to the team that I hadn't really thought about, right? And playing in several semifinal games and all that, like he said, this is going to be the hardest game he played, and he told all the guys that. And talking about our semifinal game, he said that's the hardest one. Getting over the hump, getting there, that's going to be the hardest game he played. Right. And so our guys, once we got past Nashville, we didn't relax. We went right back to work and just got ready for Albany. We knew what the plan was going to be. We were ready, and our guys were relaxed. They went out and were relaxed, even for as young as they were, to be in that game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. My quarterback was on spot, Dwayne Brown on spot. All those dudes played so well as rookies, man. It's hard to see rookies just play well and in those moments, right? It's kind of a bigger moment, but it was cool to watch it. It was cool to watch it.
Good, yeah. So I don't want to hold you up too much. Kind of in closing, is there any advice that you want to give to young players or people who are looking at the arena game and maybe they want to play arena, or young guys who are just kind of at a crossroads about playing, pro ball and, trying to achieve their dreams? Do you have any advice for these guys?
I think the biggest thing is really take it for what it is. It's professional sports. And I know people talking heads like to downplay it and like it's not, but you're getting paid to do a job. So you're getting paid to be professional. So that means be on time, show up every day, do your best to be the best version of yourself, because ultimately there are a lot of young guys that want to move on to the next level. And without those things I mentioned, you're not going to make it at the next level. If you can't be on time, you can't take care of your business, you're not going to stand a chance. I don't care how talented you are. So the first thing for me would just be professional. And that requires you to be on time. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And just, I don't know, that integrity that's going to take you and move you in front of a guy that's not on time, or that's not studying his playbook, or that's not putting the work in, because, well, this game's easy. It's not easy. You got to study, you got to learn, just like anything. And if you're trying to move on, you got to learn how to study, learn how to watch film, learn how to prepare, because that's going to separate you from other guys. If you do those things, it'll separate you. And lastly, just don't take no for an answer. Like if it's in your heart to play, keep driving, keep pushing. If it's in your heart to do this, go after it with everything you have until you can't anymore. Don't take no.
All right, appreciate it. And so, we'll be in touch. And again, I appreciate you, carving out time to come on and speak with me and all that, and kind of, tell your story. Because I want, again, my whole goal is kind of connect the old school with the new school. There's a player from the past that fits what you're trying to do. And,
man,
learn
it's all lovey, man. Anytime.
Yeah. Appreciate you. So we're going to sign off. And again, appreciate your time and have a good night.
Appreciate you. Go talk, baby. Out.
Yep.